No, it's not made up of Atma. Exactly. So that means if you take the Vedic model, this whole sophisticated body that you have is made up of 5 elements. What are the 5 elements? Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha and Prithvi. What are these 5 elements? Akasha is space. Where do you find space in the body? Exactly. So between two muscles you have, what is there? Space. In the stomach, right? All these organs that you have, each one ends and the other one begins. What is there in between? Space, right? So therefore, there is space everywhere. They don't think space is only outside in the empty this thing. Space is all here, right? Now, the weight that we are all obsessed about. You go to any person who knows anything about anatomy, they'll say a lot of our weight is weight of water, right? So therefore, there is all this water which is what? In our body. So you take out air, you can't actually take out air. Then water. Then air. Where is air?
Air that you breathe in.
Absolutely. Every minute, try to keep your nose closed. For how many seconds you think you can keep it closed? How many minutes? You haven't even tried, and thank God. Right? So that means constantly you are what? Breathing in this air. The external air, when it enters your nostrils and goes into your system, what do we call it? Prana. We call it prana because it's no longer what? Just the air. What it has functions. What does it do? That air that you breathe in, what does it do? It gives oxygen, and the oxygen is very much needed for what? Your organs to function, for your what? Blood to be producing hemoglobin. That air, that clean air is so important. This is why in Delhi, because people breathe this, they have this even, odd, whatever. Yeah. So that means there's so much of your daily functions which you take for granted are done by what? The presence of that air. When you breathe in, it becomes I. When you breathe out, it becomes what?
Air.
Not I. Magic. That means what? Our whole understanding air is never I. But when it enters, we think it is I. It becomes I. Water is never I. When external water, river water, it is not I. But when it is inside your body, it becomes what? I. Unfortunately. This is a mistake we make. Right? Each non-I, the space is I? No. The air is I? No. The water is I? No. Right? Then Agni. Agni is what?
Fire.
Fire. Where do you see fire in your body? The heat. Absolutely. How is heat produced? The body, in order for you to survive, there is a self-generating heat. The heat is a generating mechanism. Okay. How does it produce heat? Do you know how it produces heat?
Through the fat cells. I guess through the blood circulation.
Through the blood circulation. It produces it. That blood is, it has a temperature which is warm, and it produces. And this is why that, if you have cold extremities, what will they say? Your blood circulation is weak. So there is this whole big mechanism of producing heat. the food that you eat actually contributes to produce. That's why you can't be anorexic. You don't eat food and you're afraid of eating food. You are actually damaging the whole system. The whole balance of this system depends upon the food that you eat. Okay? So therefore there is this heat. So therefore the digestive system also contributes to producing heat. Okay? Then you have earth. Exactly. Skin. Okay? So therefore this whole body that you think I am is made up of what? 5 elements. Each of the 5 elements, the air, the space, the fire, the water, the earth, is not I. But when they come together and they perform this specific function, in your understanding, what it becomes I. So what Bhagavad Gita says is, this is a mistake. Body is a body. It's an intelligent mechanism. It is given to you for a certain time. Okay? But the problem is, because you are given special relationship with only one body and not other bodies, we take it as I, and we suffer from the limitation of the body as limitation of I. Okay? So therefore this limitation we are suffering ashocha nanvashochastvam. It is not what? It's not wise for us to suffer from something which is not there. Right? So therefore, now the second sense of I, so that means now we've understood that the body is not I because of these various reasons. It's an object. What are the 2 reasons we gave? It's an object of my awareness, and the second thing is what? It is made up of 5 elements, and all those 5 elements are what?
Space, earth, water.
Yeah, and each one of them is not I. Right? If I ask you, are you water or not? What is your answer? No. Are you fire or not? What is your answer? No. Right? So when the water and fire come together, does it become I? No. All non-I's don't add up to make I. Logic. Right? So therefore, this is what you are not. The second big sense of I that you have is in what?
Mind.
In your mind. Okay? So that means you define yourself as, if I what you do, what did you say, how you feel, how you, what else did you say, what you studied. Okay, so when you say I'm a doctor, or I'm a physicist, or I'm architect, or whatever, okay, it's all, everything that you have, or I'm happy, or I'm sad, or I'm feeling low, or whatever, or I'm feeling good. All these different definitions are with reference to what? Your mind. Okay? Now, you have to understand what is the relationship that you have with the mind. Is mind I, or I is something more than the mind? So therefore, what do you think? Excellent. So mind is, okay, why do you say that? It's true, your answer is right, but you have to.
How will you know who is I? How will the opposite person know who is I? So, your mind, or what your thoughts that you portray, or everything around you is determined by the I.
Okay. This is something, let's say that the sense of I that you have right now is not just the thought that you had 1 minute ago, right? Is it? Or from this morning. The sense of I that you have, right, is like, let's say 1 minute ago you were feeling really peaceful. But do you define yourself as just that peaceful I? No. How would you define yourself?
As an observer of the change of emotion.
That is with Vedanta, but what
Facets
she is saying.
together.
Exactly. Absolutely. So your sense of I is right now that you enjoy without Vedanta is many different facets you put together. Right? So that means one aspect is what? Your education. Somebody said. The other is what? Your emotions. The third is what?
Your occupation.
Your occupation. So that means in your I sense you have very good, Roxy. Okay? You've put together lots of different facets and you have created one sense of I. And all those different facets are what? Variable. Variable because what? Let's say you define yourself by the emotion. How many different emotions you have had from the time of your birth till now?
Oh my heavens.
Oh my heavens. You can't even begin to answer that question. So what is the reality? That emotions have come and gone. They have changed. And who are you? You are the one who comes to know the presence and absence of these emotions. So that means, are you the emotion or you are the observer of the emotion? You are the observer. And what is the mistake you make?
You become the emotion.
You become the emotions. Right? Emotions are there. Nobody can deny the presence of the emotion. The fact is that they are changing. And the reality is, who are you? You are the observer of these emotions. And the mistake that we make is, we take ourselves to be
The
what?
emotion itself.
The emotion itself.
And get hysterical.
And then we get hysterical. Yeah, true. And then we want to, because we want to have a good self-image, we try to what? Control or suppress the emotions. This is the worst thing you can do. And especially if you do it in the name of spirituality, you're hooked forever. Emotions, try to hold on to any one emotion. How long will you hold on? Try. Any thought in your mind will last for how long? Seconds. Millisecond? Yeah.
Even if I'm thinking of being happy, but then there are 1,000 things going on behind it.
Absolutely. Right? So that means it is the duration of that one thought is millisecond. And still, if what is the cost of taking yourself to be the mind? If I think that this thought is I, then I think and I connect all the different thoughts and impute it all on me, and I can say I'm depressed for 1 year. That millisecond, I first make that mistake and then I build up on that millisecond, make another millisecond, then another millisecond, and I create one whole self-image.
The puppet man.
Yeah, absolutely. Those who came to Rishikesh, they know.
I missed that point.
And that story has become like a big success. Everybody remembers this Papad story. Yeah. Okay. So the Papad story goes like that, and that's exactly what Roxy is saying. How we build up things, right? So there was this event where there was a big celebration, and a lot of people were invited for dinner or lunch or whatever. Okay, and the food was being served, so they were all sitting next to each other, and so one person would come and give you rice, and the next one, how they serve this food in this marriage and thing. Now I think they don't do it, but before they used to do it. So jamats, exactly. Jamvanu, huh? Yeah, Jamanvar, exactly, Jamanvar. So this is a Gujarati typical, that you use it. And then what happened is that everything was being served, and also one of the items was papad. Okay. Now the man came and he was serving papad and everything, and he was observing, and everybody got this papad, nice, everybody got, and he got half papad, and then the man gave, and then he gave, and so he was looking everywhere, and he says, everybody got full papad and I got half papad. And he started building on that. The host doesn't like me, he wants to insult me. He has done all this to just show me, put me down in front of everyone. And then he created this whole big story. By the time he did not enjoy the food, he went home and he said, how can I get back? This is a big insult. I was humiliated in front of everyone. I want to show this guy and I want to teach him a lesson. And then the person said, okay, now what I'm going to do? I'm going to tit for tat. I'm going to again I'll also call a lot of people home, and I will serve everyone full papad, and I'll serve him half papad and give him quarter, and that will make him feel see how it feels to be humiliated. So therefore he says, yeah, but where do I have money to give such a big party? This is okay, doesn't matter, I'm going to work really hard, right? So he works for 10 years to accumulate enough money. Then he has enough money, then he calls everyone, and then he again makes everything, and he strategically puts that man in the middle so that he sees that everybody gets full papad and he gets half papad. So everything is served, and then his turn comes, he's given half papad, and everybody gets full papad. And after the whole thing is done, this person doesn't even notice anything. For him, it's a non-event. So this man is so angry, it's like he thought that he's teaching him a lesson. For the other person, it was what? He didn't even notice that it is he's given half and everybody is given full. It was a non-event. He got so upset, and he went to him and he said, aren't you upset? And he said, for what? He says, see, everybody got, and you... So he says, so what? Maybe there is some mistake, and the man is serving and he doesn't pay attention and all. So he was like, oh my God, what I was suffering for 20 years, I created this whole big story in my head. How many thoughts? One thought? How many thoughts? Many, many, many. Many, many, many what? Milliseconds of thoughts creates one what? One story, and we get totally identified with that story, and we live from that story, thinking that this is the reality. Okay.
Full imagination.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, to a certain degree, we all, even if we are objective, right? We live with this whole identity of what small thoughts, adding them up and making our self-image. Many different facets. Thoughts are just milliseconds duration. And who are you? You're the observer of that coming and going of the thought. And our whole identity becomes what? The basis of the different aspects of that thought life. Okay, so therefore, this is something, and that nobody thinks, because everybody does it, nobody recognizes a mistake. We all do it. Okay, so what are the different facets of thought that Roxy was talking about? It's not just we have only one type of mind. We have different aspects of the mind. Okay, so therefore, this Vedanta Shastra talks about different aspects of the mind, different facets that we have. This mind, which is nothing but thoughts, have 4 major categories. What are those categories? The first one is what we call manas. Okay, what is manas? Manas is described in 2 different ways. One is, it is the emotional center. Okay, emotions that come. So that means when you see, let's say one of my friends, he says, I go on Marine Drive for a morning jog, and there is this overhead bridge, and under the bridge a lot of families are living under the bridge, and they are little, and early morning the parents are sleeping and the boys are awake, the boys and girls are awake, and they start running around, and he says, oh my God, I get such fear, because what if one boy starts running across, and if a car is going fast early in the morning because there is no traffic, what will happen, right? So therefore there is this center which is the fear center, right? And that is something which is healthy. Please don't call that fear a negative emotion. Imagine you don't have any sense of anything. What kind of life it is? Dull. Okay, so the person is concerned, and that concern is a good thing. So that is that aspect of the mind which not only observes a child but also has a corresponding compassion, fear. This is what we call manas, emoting mind. We look at events and we have corresponding emotions. Okay, so this is called manas. In some other text, this manas is also defined as sankalpa vikalpatmikaha manaha. What does it mean is, let's say a situation presents itself in front of us, and then we say, should I do this or should I do that? That aspect also belongs to manas.
So what should we write? Manas is defined as?
So sankalpa and vikalpa means the different possibilities. It creates different possibilities.
Gives you choice.
Sorry?
Gives you choice.
It is actually,
to decide.
see, exactly, it creates choices.
It creates
Choices, right? You have to say now simple things like you are crossing the road, right? You can say, should I go now or should I not?
Yeah.
It creates what? Possibilities. You create. It's not somebody else. You create the choices. So that facet of the mind which creates what? Different choices, that is manas. Should I do this or should I do that? Should I speak up or should I not speak up?
That's the discriminating.
No. That is buddhi. That is buddhi.
So it's not
Within those choices, then the discriminative capacity makes that choice within different options.
Okay, within the
Options,
then
it then
is the
that
intellect.
exact that is the intellect.
I confused.
Yeah. So therefore, there is one capacity which is now. What time? The time is over. It's 1:45. Okay. So I will stop here, but I will just say that there are 4 aspects, 4 facets of the mind. Which are the 4? I will explain to you more in detail, and then I will tell you all these 4 facets you are not, and then I will tell you who you are. Yes? So the first aspect is manas, which is the emoting and that creating choices, creating options. The second one is buddhi, which is the intellect or a discriminative capacity. The third one is chittam, and the fourth one is ahankara. So I will explain each one in detail next time. I've pretty much finished with manas, but I will look into buddhi, chittam and ahankara. Okay, so this is all what you are not. And what is the nature of confusion? You have taken yourself to be all this. Right? This is Bhagavad Gita. What it has to show you is way beyond your imagination. Yes? Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.